All right, here we are. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Steve and Lynda stands. Glad that you could make it for episode 6 today. Steve and Lynda could not make it. The holidays are a busy time for everyone, but especially Steve and Lynda. We do hope that they'll be back next week, but for now, you're stuck with us again, and you're going to have to deal with it.
Now, Brendan, I've heard that a few times.
Deal with it?
What? So they, but they are coming back.
Steve and Lynda?
Yes.
Well, Dan, that's the whole mystery of this show. If we tell people, they'll stop watching immediately.
Is a thing Ian would say if that wasn't true, is what he's forgetting.
So for the moment, you're telling me I shouldn't worry. I should just, as you say, deal with it.
I mean, if you're checking on the status of their lives, they are still alive. But yeah, they're busy, man.
What were they doing this week?
What do you want from me? What were you doing?
You did. I thought you said you just talked to them yesterday.
Yeah, I just talked to him yesterday.
Something to do with skiing with the cat
They
skiing.
were skiing. Yeah. They were skiing. It was chickens.
Chicken skiing. Yeah,
they're big on chickens. They're skiing with.
Now, are they teaching? Is this instructional? Because that's such a small market. I feel like they probably really could run a monopoly there.
You get a few real big, like, well-off chickens, and you don't really need a huge market.
Yeah, and I mean,
you got a Purdue contract.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and the turnaround probably is really, just let alone, like, I'm thinking like X Games sponsorships. Like, you can't have a Shaun White of the chicken world because it's only going to live to be 3 years old. You're not seeing him making multiple Olympics. No, sir. Not on my watch.
Yeah, they burn out, right? The chickens are, if they're sort of like, they're more like,
dare I say, a flash in the pan.
Yeah. But that flash is so Steve and Lynda aren't going to make it back this week.
That explanation appeases me. Please continue.
But folks, if you're listening, you're interested in how Steve and Lynda are doing, I'll reach out, see if they got any photographs that we could maybe post on steveandlyndamakapodcast.com. So if you got requests,
noted.
You got requests for the chickens, email
Steve and Lynda make a podcast at gmail.com, I think. And that's Lynda with a Y.
Why? Yeah. All right, let's get into the meatiness of the topics for today. Today's topic has been officially declared meaty by one Dan Joshua and by, I think, the Meat Council of Pennsylvania as well. So I think today what we decided we would talk about was as the year wraps up, a little bit about what our goals for next year, the year 2021 AD. So as a team, I think Parker and I have plans. We'll see if we'll see how realistic. But let's dive in. I think it sounds like Dan is maybe least sure on what his plans are.
That's correct.
For the coming year. And so because of that, why don't you start us off?
Oh, lovely. All right. Oh boy. Where do we even begin? I am going to run out of money in June. Uh-oh. So, goal number 1 is to figure out what I do in June with my life if I indeed run out. If I can't get enough stuff cooking monetarily, financially, to keep living this lovely full-time freelance lifestyle, what my play is in June. So I think having a little bit of clarity around that is going to be what I hope to map out in the next week or so, just to kind of set it and forget it, if you will. I don't really want to stress about that too hard in the first quarter of 2021. So I want to have kind of more concrete options mapped out, if that makes sense. Does that make
Makes
sense?
plenty of sense.
No.
I mean, no.
Yeah.
So does that June number, does that assume like zero income, or is that like assume you keep making the amount you're making now, or what's that based on?
Yeah, it's a little bit conservative. That was assuming basically making zero income for this whole
So
time.
You're just a dragon sitting on a pot of gold, and that's when the pot of gold is dried up.
Whoa, not completely dry. That would be a little bit irresponsible. But it's when I'm going to look into the pot and say, uh-oh, or whatever a dragon would say.
That sounds like a dragon.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I am making a little bit. It's just not nearly sustainable yet. You know, we're not at rent and all expenses and stuff. So
Yeah.
So that sounds like a results goal.
yeah, very
That's
much.
pretty much like, yeah. Do you have any, like, stepping that back a little bit closer to like the process? Do you have any other goals, or have you worked out any specifics? Full disclosure, we did. If you've tracked this, we put Dan on the spot. But do you have any goals backing up?
Yeah, let me ignore your question and get to some more results ones. I would
Good.
like to I would like to accumulate 1,000 subscribers on my personal YouTube channel. I would like to accumulate 1,000 subscribers on my hockey YouTube channel.
And is that by the end of the year?
Yeah. And 1,000 is kind of like, I don't know, pulling that out of my ass. It's like a tenfold increase over today, but also the point in which you can monetize using ads. So that's my goal for those two things. For the process, I don't know what I would change yet. That's really what I'm going to have to spend time thinking about. I don't feel like my days so far have been super consistent to the point, like I haven't hit that curve of consistency versus effectiveness yet, if that makes sense. They've been more ad hoc and kind of all over the place. And I think part of that is running into the holidays, and part of that's just getting used to having my own time. But I think I definitely can have some, a goal would be to get a little bit more consistent once I figure out a more true schedule. So that's a big one on the process side.
How much of that is dependent on gathering more clients? Because it sounds like the hope is that you could just figure out a more consistent schedule, but that may not necessarily be something you have fully in your control, right?
True. I think the one thing, so I guess I'm 2 weeks into full time. This is the start of the third. So one of the things that I really wanted to get back to was like this 5 a.m. wake up, get back to my early mornings. I'm realizing now that I love those partly because I was getting up playing hockey at that hour, and I've found it difficult to do that, to get up that early without something super fun and physically engaging to look forward to. I also find myself getting really excited to edit photos or put together a video timeline deep into the night. And so those things don't align. So it's very possible that some of that consistency is breaking those preconceived notions that I had about what would be effective and just rolling with, what's more fun, honestly. I don't know. But yeah, partly it will be driven by customers and what they want to do. But again, so far, all that stuff is so flexible because I'm not close to that 40 hours a week type thing. So I don't know. I seem to do a lot of my client work midday. The earliest I tend to start that stuff is 10 a.m. and the latest I tend to work on that is, 3 or 4. And, kind of before and after is some of my own project time.
3 or 4 p.m.
Are you liking the flexibility?
Yeah, 3 or 4 p.m., not
Sorry.
a.m. Thank God.
Oh, no worries.
Ian, what did you say?
I was just asking if you like that level of flexibility.
Yeah, so far I really do. It's very nice. I was telling
Yeah.
Brendan earlier today, offline. Sorry, guys, that we spoke off the podcast. But it's really nice to be able to prioritize just like running around doing your own errands and like cooking, running to the post office, doing laundry, like doing whatever.
Yeah.
Like the things that normally would have like stressed me out with a job because you're scrambling to do it before 8:30 or you're scrambling to do it before 6 when things close. It's just like all that junk.
Yeah.
Life, the stuff that was getting in the way with a full-time job is just like, I don't know, you do it now and it feels like you're making progress. And then I got a couple of directed hours of work in, and I don't know. I've been feeling if I hit 5 good hours a day, given kind of the commitments I have, it feels good. And then I'm also, on my own projects because this stuff is fun. I've been doing those 2 5-hour days on the weekend and not feeling like it's work. So I don't know. You put 5 hours in 7 days a week, more or less, and you're getting
And
back
you got to
easily.
account for the fact that 5 hours that you're deeming sort of productive time is probably a very different calculation than if you were in a full-time job. Like, did you ever really find yourself at work doing exactly 8 hours of like actual stuff?
Actual stuff as like directed work?
Yeah, like would you, the amount of stuff you could fit into and sort of complete in 5 hours of your own sort of internally motivated work just seems like it would be different from 8 hours of, being on someone else's clock.
8 hours is a funny way to say 10 hours, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell because the domain is so different. And certainly the biggest difference was meeting time, both internal meetings and customer-facing meetings in the full-time role that really didn't ever allow for a bigger focus work chunk of like 2 hours max if I was lucky. And that's a big part of why I was kind of burning out. It gets tough to not have that dedicated time where you can sit down, work and think and plan. Becomes, when you don't have that, things become very reactive very quickly and they start building week to week. And
Yeah,
I'm sure some people are better.
word.
I'm sure some people are better at handling it than me, but I don't know. You do that for a couple months in a row and I'm feeling like I'm swimming pretty bad.
Yeah.
That got dark.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. We've gotten way darker.
And we'll get even darker still.
For those of you out there listening, if you're looking for specific segments, we did dream up a segment called Ian's Dark Closet that has not yet made it into production. But I think we can just make that anyone's dark closet. And Dan, that was your 12-second promo for Dan's Dark Closet.
Dan, thank you so much for taking over that segment.
You can't get rid of it that easy.
I'll share.
So I have a quick logistical question, if you will humor me. What does monetizing you mentioned that 1,000 subscribers is some threshold for YouTube allowing you to post ads. So
yeah.
Does that mean the kind of in video ads that like specific sponsors have asked you to basically write up a little spiel and then you put it on the air? Or is that stuff where we just have to wait 5 seconds as viewers and then click skip ad?
It's the latter, but the former, for all those advertisers that are chomping at the bit when this episode drops, you let us know and you can certainly work in a sponsorship spot with us. We have
maybe. Now you got to make it exclusive. You may be able to work.
I was getting there. So, like Brendan is alluding to, we have a lot of interest, and there are only so many spots. So, sooner
Steve
rather
and
than
Lynda,
later is when you're going to want to talk to us about that.
Sooner.
Please.
Yeah. Steve and Lynda make a podcast at gmail.com.
PayPal.
Yeah, so that's a great distinction for people unfamiliar or for people who haven't thought about monetizing a channel.
Oh yeah.
And the skippable ads, that would represent something pitiful for most channels, like $2, $3, $5 a month at 1,000 subs or something. So it's really nothing to get excited about, other than, I don't know, it's just like by the time you get to 1,000 subs, most people have slaved over their channel and have started to turn the corner in figuring out who their audience is, what they want. They've typically gotten better at creating videos. Teaser, you may find this out, Brendan, in the future.
Oh boy.
I'll just leave it at that.
Why might I find this out, Dan?
I don't know. You tell us. 2021 goals, go.
That's a good segue.
That was a perfect little hot potato, Dan.
My fingers were burning.
So, goals for 2021. It's hard to say specifically, and I'm gonna we'll segue into. Oh boy, I already got it planned out. Ooh, baby. Here we go. All right. So, the reason Dan mentions that is because we recently have been working on a separate little channel for me to post some tutoring videos for the SAT and the ACT. We've been bandying about with that idea for probably decades, right?
5 years. No, 2 maybe? I don't know.
It's got to be at least 3 or 4 years. And we're finally doing it. So this will be partly an update and partly goals. But last week, Dan came over and was last week
masked,
fully masked the whole time. I do want to stress that Parker and I have been getting together, masked the whole goddamn sweaty time.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan and we worked on a commercial last week for one of his clients, and I couldn't be masked the whole time because I was the star of the commercial. And Dan,
he's not lying. He's not lying. It's just he's not lying. It's just typically, Brendan, you would maybe beat around the bush, and then I would jump in and be like, he was the star. And then you say, no, shucks, no, I wasn't.
Oh, come on, I really got to, credit goes to my high school drama teacher, Mr. Tavani.
Ian Parker, I'm sorry, I'm building him up. I've made a monster.
No, it's okay. I've always wanted to know a famous person, so now I can cross that off.
And then after that we started taking some promotional photographs, and then this week we filmed. I guess this is confusing timelines for those of you out there deliberately mapping out what the timeline is. This week or 6 days ago or whenever the F it was, we actually took some video, and I mumbled through some thoughts about systems of equations. So if you're listening to this, it'll be up by the time you hear it, right, Dan? It's not going to be up. But if you're listening to this in the distant future, check out Mr. B's SATs on YouTube.
Oh, that's fantastic. Is that it?
Of course it is.
Before this goes up, Brendan, you're going to want to actually start that channel name.
Got it. Smash that sub button.
We'd hate to have somebody squat on it.
Or are you kidding me? I'm going for it right now.
There's a Mr.
There's a Mr. what?
There's a Mr. B on there's a Mr. B on YouTube. But it's just Mr. B.
What is it?
It's not Mr. B's SATs.
Okay.
What is it, Mr. B's SATs?
Nope, that's all you.
Boom.
Or Ian.
Yeah.
If you hear furious typing in the background.
So that's part of the goals, I guess. I don't have specific goals for that besides get a series of somewhat useful math videos up for folks. The whole sort of reasoning behind that is that I have been tutoring for so long and feel a little bit like it's mercenary, and having to have a relationship with families is kind of difficult when you also have to like ask for a check right afterwards, and the work is so personal. Like I would argue that it's just as much a psychological effort as it is an educational effort, because you actually have to like get to know a person and sort of understand their unspoken, kind of tricky to pin down learning styles sometimes. And so you get to know a person really intimately, and you actually are in their homes. Obviously not lately, but most of the time you're in their homes and you know their families, you know their pets, and it's like tough to always have that tied to money. And it also is tough having to only being able to cater to a certain economic demographic. Because my time, I partly have to be, honest to myself about what my time is worth. But I also have partly to understand that education is like a social justice act, and that only catering to folks who can afford the rate that I have chosen to value my time at it weighs on me a bit. So anyway, trying to, create these videos in any way, as in any way useful tools to folks who can't afford it, but can afford an internet connection. And even that obviously is not a given, but seems like a useful way to spend my time. And so I don't know specific goals besides get that up and running and get like some version of momentum. And I think we're learning a lot as we go. Wouldn't you say there, Daniel?
I would. I would also say we warned you guys it was going to get heavy.
I think dark. We weren't dark.
Mine was like happy heavy though, right?
Yeah.
It was.
That's so cool.
Trying to do good in the world.
I say we just end it right there. That's
yeah.
like the highest. That's the pinnacle that's the highest we're ever going to get in terms of like a.
There's going to be a lot more penis joke coming on as we go. So stay tuned for that.
We don't want to cut that.
You've gotten your dose of wholesome. Now stick around for the immaturity.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So no specific goals. Besides, again, get traction for that. Today, Dan and I worked on crafting what my sort of visual persona will be by getting like a profile picture for the YouTube page and a banner for the YouTube page and a thumbnail for this first video we created. It was fun.
You are not going to want to miss it.
Don't miss it.
Mr.
Mr. B's SATs, all on the old YouTubes.
Is that you got like
Dan,
a
how
whole,
would you Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say you've got like a whole set, don't you? You've got like a pull down map and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It looks very legitimate.
It eventually could be a geography channel.
Oh.
Exotic.
Yeah. Dan, what would you say my persona is?
Oh,
Sell
man.
it, but also be honest.
Those are conflicting. Just kidding. It is innocent, goofy,
and really, really informative.
Yeah, pretty solid and amped, but also, I don't know, just worldly with the map behind you. It's not charitable. I'm looking for another word like that though. I don't know. It's on the tip of my tongue.
We'll let the old Steve and
let it simmer.
Parker, what did you say Steve and Lynda fans
The Slindians?
Yeah, the Slindians. Let the Slindians decide. We look forward to your feedback. All right, I'll finish up. Next thing, that's the very, very generalized plans for Mr. B's SATs. I also have some plans about maybe writing a book, like a drill book that would be associated with the channel, as well as just to use with my students. I've been meaning for a while to organize and sort of code the math and writing questions for a while, and I've done some of it. I just need to kind of pull all the way through with it.
That's super cool.
Yeah. Wait, did you say something?
I just said
Parker?
that's super cool. It's exciting.
Oh. And then we transition to the primary old effort. Forest Floor Mushrooms. Come see us in 2021 at blank market and blank
Coming to a market
market,
near
as well
them.
as exactly. So specific plans, Parker, you'll obviously be able to add to this, and then you can transition to graphics. Let's see. We will hopefully have the shed completely up and running. We did just recently talk about like when should we start reaching out to markets, which is something I did when it was more of a solo venture a couple of months ago. Obviously, we talked about reaching out, and that felt really successful, but has since very much fizzled out. The response rate was really surprisingly high at first. Maybe like out of 10 to 12 people that I reached out to, like 5 people got back to me. But all of those leads have since fizzled just because, well, I don't know. Just because. So the hope is that in moving some things over to Phoenixville and just having the sort of dual effort of sort of the dual efforts of salesmanship between me and Parker, we'll reach out again to markets after the holidays to get a spring lineup of places that we can vend to. And in the process, it's hard to like organize all this stuff as a timing thing because there's a lead time on how long mushrooms take to grow. But the hope is that at that point we'll be at 60 pounds a week. And then I would say we would probably gradually work up from there up to what we sort of deemed a sustainable amount was like 170 pounds a week would be, I think, sustainable between the two of us. But if we're capable of going up to 200 or 300 a week, that would be great. Dan's currently pooping his pants.
Oh man.
Does that amaze you?
Yeah. What does the restaurant go through?
What does the restaurant go through? What?
Like a week?
Like what does a restaurant go through?
Oh, yeah. See, I don't really know yet. I would guess that most of that would be at first markets, farmers markets, and then maybe if we feel we've got enough to talk to some of the small groceries around us, because that would feel fairly regular.
Gotcha,
So I don't know. My guess is based on what people have been based on companies that I've been following either on YouTube or just on their own websites and blogs. It seems as though anywhere from 10 to 25 pounds a week is for like a fairly small restaurant is pretty normal. That would require something like at first 3 restaurants or so, maybe 2 markets instead of 3 restaurants. But then up at sort of the 200, 300 range, it would be more like chain restaurants potentially, or like local chains. Like Honey Grow is a restaurant in Philly that has a bunch of different outlets. I reached out to the folks at Veg Veg is a small restaurant, Hip City Veg, and got an initial response from them, but not much else. So it depends on the size of the restaurant and the size of their scope or reach. Yeah, so that's our plan, at least for now, as we're still figuring out the logistics of being in the shed and moving things into Phoenixville. Feels like the first run was me figuring out certain skills and like developing the skills to grow the things. Now working with Parker is more like actually developing the infrastructure. And yeah, more like creating the business, less like just developing the skills to um, create the business. If that makes sense.
Gotcha. That's very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Parker, anything that you would add to our plans for next year?
Yeah. Well, I think that like the one thing as you're like explaining this to me and like Dan's asking about restaurants, and I think like if we do start at a market, it would really surprise me if you don't find people from restaurants at that market that are looking for similar things. So I think that like a lot of leads might come naturally from that if you like just have the product somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. I think with that we're technically 4 walls away from being done and in the shed. So it's like getting that done, as fun as this snowstorm has been, or the snowstorm this week. It kind of like, I mean, yeah, and we worked that one day. So literally like it was just me and Brendan just sawing shit in like, I don't know, 8 inches of snow, and it's like, as it works, but it's like kind of flustering. It's difficult. So getting that stuff done, you know. And then like, yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where like if we can hit those numbers, like if eventually we could like be pushing like closer to like, even if it's like 150 pounds, but we realize like it's working and like people are buying it.
Yeah.
Then it's like, what's the next step after the shed? And does that happen in 2021? Does that happen in 3 years, 5 years, whatever? Like, I don't know. That's the exciting thing to me.
Yeah. It's pretty scalable without like the initial amount of effort to get to 60 pounds or 80 pounds or whatever we want to get to at first is the biggest effort or the biggest leap, I think. And then doubling that is like 15-20% more effort. It would require more space potentially, but it's nice to know that it's scalable with solidly increasing returns.
Exactly.
I think your point, Parker, about gathering restaurant clients more organically is an interesting one that I've been thinking about, partly in response to the fact that like I don't know, like I reached out to people and they seemed interested at first, but sent them these little menus that we created and then didn't hear back at all. It seems like they need product in front of them to make things real, or they need maybe like less of an email presence and more of an actual physical. So I'm
just show up.
I think you're totally right, Parker, about markets being that avenue.
Yeah, just exciting.
But what's going on with like what plans would you have for graphics?
So I think, I don't know, like it's kind of fun having like, you know, not all the eggs in the same basket, like being able to do like, I don't know, do graphics work, do like if you have like, if I can get like a mural a year, that's exciting to me. Like so maybe like get one more mural project that I think is fun next year, or I don't know. I think that like with the clients that I have right now, like I'm pretty set like hourly and stuff like that, so it's like a lot less of like the search and more so just like the implementing the work kind of. So like continuing with that. But yeah,
that's gotta feel good.
It does. It was literally like this last one, Dan. That last one that I got like, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago or something, has become like, it started as like 5 to 10 hours a week, and it's become like now it's like 20 hours a week, and I'm just like, I can sit at that and it won't be 20 hours a week all the time. Like they have like holiday cards and holiday newsletters and a bunch of MailChimp stuff, but like they've been like picking up with like it's not just social media anymore, so it's like that's cool.
That's really
remind us what that gig is.
It's just like an events company over in Wayne. But right now they like they're transitioning into like outdoor dining experiences and stuff like that. So, and how you can like make it.
And they're just
sorry.
I was just gonna say they're adding things to your plate because they trust that they appreciate the work you're doing on social media, or like how is the sort of increased.
I think it's been more so like it was like signed on as a social media thing, but like it's like the one woman that I work with, like she worked with me at Sparks before, so she like knows that I know about or like how to like edit renderings and how to do X, Y, and Z. So she's just like, can you also do this? Because like you photoshopping this is a lot cheaper than getting like a modeler to redo it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's been nice. Yeah.
And you like the people?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Glowing review.
Yeah. No, it's like it's good. It's not like, I mean, no offense to JCI. It's not like I don't think any kid grows up wanting to edit renders for 40 hours a week. Like that's not like a dream job. I'm not like an astronaut, but like it's you know, it keeps the bank account happy and on the green side, on the right side. So that's good. And that makes Lily happy, which is also good. Oh, and Lily being sales plug. There you go. Back to mushrooms. Lily's probably gonna do that too. So we'll have
Yeah.
family business. Yeah. Yeah. I don't really have any like goals. I guess it's just like still be alive and keep making money.
Those are some pretty substantial goals.
It's like a big one. Yeah, and those are like that. The first one's almost like a legitimate goal with the current climate, you know? It's like that's like
Oh, man.
Well, I mean, I thought this was the sad episode.
I don't know whether to laugh or not.
I thought that we were just doing the depressing thing. Or were we done with that with Dan, or like
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Parker's Dark Thought.
Thank you. But yeah, no. Just keep on keeping on, everybody. It'll be fine. Or it won't. But fuck that. You can't do anything about it. So yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. But I guess like unless there's like any other questions, I really just kind of wanted to hear about somebody else's goals for next year. Somebody that I know very well.
Oh boy.
Wait. All right,
Wait.
I'll go. Again.
You gotta pause
I'll
for
go again. Fine.
You really want to hear it again?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Steve and Lynda Make a Podcast. We're so glad that you joined us.
Oh my God, Brendan,
All
thank
right.
you.
Turn it on. Turn it on. Turn it.
Oh, dude.
So,
It's
Ian,
not a printer yet. It's still a
what
shredder.
plans do you have?
It's a shredder. What?
I love that. That's like the evolution of things. If you just let that shredder just incubate for a couple more months, all of a sudden it's going to be a printer. That's how Pokemon works. I think they have those two characters, shredder and
printer.
Yeah. Oh shit! You really want me to? Okay.
Oh yeah, no, you have to participate. Yeah.
No, do you? I mean, it's a like legitimate thing because part of this is realizing that maybe we don't have plans we can articulate. That we're going with, that we're in a sort of feedback and then response sort of mode. But do you have, if you were forced to sort of look ahead into 2021, do you have specific goals?
Yeah, like the feedback thing you described, that's definitely part of it. Because a lot of this is still a learning process. But no, I definitely do. Like in the short term, I want to finish the strategy that I'm working on because it seems like it might be like marginally profitable with some tweaking.
Maybe.
And then get the paper trading going. Because like marginally profitable in my dinky little simulator might just mean an abysmal failure, like in any sort of real world scenario. So I need to know that, like, so I can start like fixing whatever's currently broken that I don't know about. That's the next big goal. At some point, if I do start making any sort of like reasonable money, I do want to do the whole like legal entity thing. But that's still...
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, that's still kind of like way out. That's going to be at least a couple months, if not more. But those are, I think that's kind of like the big things. Get the paper trading going. Hopefully after that, get something that can actually like run with my real money, which is terrifying. And then Yeah, like I don't legitimize it somehow in the eyes of the law.
How big or how scary, maybe scary is not the right word, but it sounds like there is potentially, well, it sounds like there is a gap between what you're doing in simulation and what happens in the real world. And that gap could be small or big. If it were me, that would make me some combination of afraid and nervous.
Yeah.
Is that how you feel about that, or do you feel like you'll get a
What
good
about
handle on what
excited?
that? No, that wouldn't be something that I would feel about that gap, that unknown gap.
I mean, I think it's like, yeah, it's like a little bit of a like splinter in my brain that I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how this is actually going to play out in the real world yet. But at the same time, it's like a known unknown, so it's like I feel good that I
Gotcha.
know that there is that disparity between what I'm doing now and what I'll be doing down the line.
Right.
Yeah. I've rediscovered my religious roots, and I'm really hoping that's what's going to do it for me.
Hey, pray that money to your pocket, buddy. It worked for all those churches this year.
Oh no!
I was going to make a televangelist joke, but I figured I didn't want to alienate
All of our
anybody,
Christian
but-
viewers
Sometimes it's okay to alienate
Yeah.
some people.
when they're dicks.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
what Parker said.
Ah!
Listen, Jesus was probably dope as hell, but some people do real fucky shit with what he said. Okay, game over.
Yo, that snippet I think just made it.
Boom.
It's just gonna be goat noise for like 2 minutes, and then Brendan, what we can say is Jesus is dope as hell. Like just like
But yeah, that's about it for goals.
that's great. That's good.
No, real question, Ian.
Yes, sir.
I know that part of this whole endeavor is that is like a pretty explicit acceptance of the algorithm and writing this code and then conducting the experiments and like getting it up and running as a practical measure. And I know that like part of the whole thing is freeing you up to spend your time and efforts and creativity on more generous things and like more broadly useful things than just having a daytime job where you're working on something like this for a company.
Oh,
So
yeah.
do you have any thoughts about, okay, by June, you have a money printer that prints money, and here's what you are going to now do. Instead of Scrooge McDucking, you're going to go
But hey, why can't I be Scrooge McDuck? I don't understand.
don't rule that
out. Listen,
You hasn't even
nobody's
turned the thing
applying
on
this
yet.
to
Don't
you.
rule it out.
Goal number, whatever the next number is fill that vault with gold coins and dive in. Face first.
So far, we've
splash
got,
around.
so far we've got Dan is
I'm
Smaug sitting on his
Schmaug.
just, sitting on his constantly dwindling pot of gold, and then Ian's just in a different side of this cave, I guess, and he's printing money.
And Brendan, you're just
Yeah,
Does that make you?
I'll fill up Dan's pile as I go.
Yeah. What am I?
you're
Parker?
just sitting on a box of mushrooms. Nobody knows why.
Just laughing.
Yeah.
Gotta incubate them.
You're
gotta keep
Pippin.
those things warm.
11 Z's.
Yeah.
No, I will
Yeah,
answer
so-
your question though.
Sorry. Okay, let's get back to the question.
I mean,
Ian's not going to Scrooge McDuck. Instead, he is going to
blank. So the first thing's kind of a selfish one, but Maggie and I definitely want to do some traveling.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Fucked
yeah.
You're gonna get canceled the day this drops.
Yeah, I'm not. Don't dox me, boys.
So far, they know your first name.
Yeah, I think my middle name too. I might be in trouble. But after gallivanting around doing the whole digital nomad thing for a little while, I do have this like harebrained idea about like starting a food truck, but doing like free meals, basically, like going to places where like food deserts, and like serving hopefully nutritious and also hopefully edible meals to people.
Part of that failure could be like that doesn't pan out and you don't get to do it, but part of that failure might be that like
it's gross.
You get halfway there and they are not nutritious and not edible, but you still end up serving the meals.
It's like the only food truck with a mortality rate. It's just
but that's
awesome.
Cool.
It's kind of like something that's just been bouncing around in my head for a while, but I don't know, I would like to start figuring out how to make it like a reality. And I think the first step is like not being beholden to like a salary. So working on that. We'll see. Also, you said June, and I just want you to know that's absurdly optimistic.
Listen, if I understand anything about geometry, and that is questionable, unless you're tuned into Mr. B's SATs, in which case I know so much about geometry.
It's true, he does.
Basically, it seemed, looking at some little graphics of your predictive algorithm results overlaid on top of actual market moving. Seems like June is not from the outside, not unrealistic.
Brendan, I'm trying to underpromise here. So if you could just
and
Jan, if you could cut that bit out.
You can't just editorialize everything. It's just cut out everything that
Consider the goat being slaughtered during that period of time.
Jeez.
I wonder if so folks have, Slindians, you obviously know the classic Steve and Lynda bleep noise that they've been using for decades.
I think they called it the bleat, like the goat,
Nice.
Oh, no.
Let's just bleep that one out real quick.
Oh, gosh. We should have a rule where we end it on a pun. If a pun that great drops, we just that's it. We gotta go
immediately. Dan, you got to put the goat noise in this time. It's been mentioned too much. People are gonna be hungry for it.
I have been sparing with it, but I can if they're hungry, I'll promise you it's gonna get minutes of airtime.
Yeah, listen, if there is not a specific
I will be liberal
segment,
with it.
Yeah.
Let's try it out.
If you don't have at least 3 minutes straight in some kind of like weird performance art kind of commentary, then I gotta say I'm never tuning in again.
Could we like at the end of this episode, like each of us just makes up a sentence that we want one word to be bleeped out for like emphasis, and then that will be like the other test where you'd be like, I don't know, I think that would be fun.
Sure.
Do we submit them? Because I'm gonna have to figure it out on the fly, and that makes me nervous.
You have at least 30 seconds to think of. Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know.
Yeah. So everyone, just silently think for 30 seconds. Slindians, you all take a deep breath. Oh God, we're really doing it.
Wait, what is my task? I need to think of a sentence that I'm going to bleep to make it sound like I was cursing my face off.
Or just like anything. Or just like shock value. Like literally you could be like, my dog. But if you bleep, it sounds significantly worse. Like,
I thought you were going to bleep out dog or something.
Or exactly.
You went right for
whatever.
it.
Why don't you do both? And then it'll be totally up to people's imagination.
My
thing to
there you go. No,
it's like a
so you're just asking
adventure.
us all to get a soundbite of our voices saying my and just putting that out into the known universe.
I wasn't gonna be a
You
professional.
could do something like my social security number is.
Yes, there you go.
that's clever.
And then you bleep it out, and people assume your social security number is.
Oh, that's only 4 of the how many digits? 9.
How many digits?
Ian, have you considered the possibility when you turn this thing on and you really have something that the people want? I've been seeing a lot of memes about Shark Tank. Now, what are your thoughts on pitching the money printer as soon as they're like, I want $3 million for 50%, and you just tell whatever I don't know who it is, that one real estate lady, you're just like, fuck you, lady, I don't need your money, and then just leave.
I literally print my
You're
own.
just like, I'm fucking better than all of you. Like.
That would be hilarious, but no, I can't in a million years imagine going on that show or any show. I don't, guys. It's a legitimate miracle that I'm doing this show. I was about to say.
Here's a goal. Hey, real quick, we got 10 minutes before Ian falls asleep. You guys each have a minute and a half to say what your goal for this podcast is. Something other than like, can we keep it going for another 5 weeks or something?
I might have one. I think it would be really fun later on down the line to do like at least like 1 or 2 a month, like a live stream, because I feel like that's like fun and goofy. Cool. Yeah, and like you get to like see. I don't know. People would see what we like look like, or people would. I don't know. They would know.
Unacceptable.
Absolutely not. Well, that was my goal. So.
We could do like a game night.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
That would be fun.
Oh, that could be like a little, dare I say, mind sesh. We could be taking the questions on chat while we mine.
Yes.
Little 4-way split screen situation. I like that.
Yeah.
I think at that point our domain name, what do you call it? Realm name? Our realm name is going to be a little too on the nose. Ladies and gentlemen, we created it at the very beginning of the whole pandemic. It was
we're gonna have to bleep this.
It's not funny now.
I am glad I picked it. I still like it.
Yeah, I am too.
It's just a couple pals.
Which I didn't even think about. If you think about what it actually is, makes it dark.
we're gonna bleep it.
This has been Brendan's Dark Closet. He's been working on that for a while.
I want that in there.
I just can't believe that the is fully inside of that other.
Or when we were working on the shed and Brendan had the saw out and he his with the saw, and it was really there was
so much.
I said, not in front of Lily. I mean, not in front of.
Stop. Guys, there's so much editing already. Stopped.
Dan's gonna go bankrupt because he just adds goat noises to a podcast.
I said June, but the next 20 hours of my life are scheduled editing this, so I'll be bone dry by March.
Here's a fun one for the folks out there listening, because this is all about demystifying and eliminating the mystify.
The mystery. It's mystery, Brendan.
Yeah. Dan, what editor do you use?
Wait, like program?
Yeah.
I use a combination of Adobe Premiere Pro and Adobe Audition to try and clean up our excessive background noise and make us sound just slightly more crispy. And I use those things together to create this masterpiece that funnels itself into your earballs.
And you just got that subscription to Adobe from Steve and Lynda?
Yeah, I don't have a referral code.
Sponsor us, Adobe. You've been called out.
Been called out.
wait a minute. Everybody else got out scot-free. What are your goals for the podcast?
Mine
I would
was
just
to do
like
a
to
video.
see.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it would be cool.
Put it on the old list.
Whoa,
Trello board.
guys! Ian just said it would be cool.
Fuck.
Did you mean that, Ian?
Yeah, like once ever, like one time,
once a
just to do
quarter.
it and say.
Ian's like, it would be cool to see you guys.
He's like, yeah, but I'm busy.
And
He's like, well, I'm busy that night, but yeah, it's gonna be really cool.
I'll just lurk in the chat. I'll field whatever subscriber questions. That'll be my thing.
Yeah, you'll be the producer.
There we go.
I would like for a review from someone that, or a comment from someone that I've never in my whole life heard from.
We'll even take just a like.
Yeah, that would be great. Or even a dislike if that's a possibility.
Oh yeah. Stranger comment. That sounds, to some people that might sound like a weird goal, but I remember Ryan and I, when we were making games, like all we wanted was that first like stranger download or review or whatever.
Exactly.
You know, to get one sale or one in-app purchase
Fucking real.
from someone that we didn't know.
And if that stranger happens to be Bill Gates or
My dad.
Oh,
Fucking web.
you already.
Oh man.
And that's the end of the goat noises.
Wow, a lot of goats.
Oh, that was 5 minutes straight. Now, I definitely, if nobody has anything else, I squirreled out of ending music.
Yes, you did.
Do you have
last
something?
time. I mean,
Now-
I have kind of a remix of what we normally run.
Oh.
I have some calls to action before we get to that, Dan. So
Oh.
warm up your pipes.
Yep.
Those of you, all of you Steve and Lynda fans, Steve and Lynda will be back next week. I know that you've been waiting for it for a while. They keep texting me pictures of their and every single time they're like, thanks so much for
I'm gonna bleep
being
chickens.
the,
I'm gonna
the
bleep
stewards.
I'm gonna bleep chickens on you, Brendan.
Well,
So, as the stewards of this fine program, I do have a humble request to any of you listeners to submit your listener questions. We had Adam. You remember that one really great question from Adam?
That was a
Shout
goodie.
out.
That's the only question we've ever
Hey,
gotten.
dog.
Send
It
them
was a
in.
good one. We had a whole episode, basically, or at least half of one, before we did our weekly update around
Yeah.
LLCs.
Yeah.
And whether it was informative or not, we talked about it.
Guys, do you want to call anybody out by name, Brendan? Do you know anybody that listens?
Jose,
We
everyone knows you're doing
Oh,
absolutely
shit.
freaking nothing
Oh.
right now.
Oh,
wow,
shit.
that's not fair.
That was brutal.
He can't.
Jose, we hope your knees get better. You're the strongest person that anyone's ever known.
Except for me.
And
Yeah, we need a question now.
And you're not engaging enough with this
You
podcast.
beautiful eyes. I'll say it.
I do also think that listeners should send in outro music of their own. Once we've gotten Dan to actually put some on the record, I think at that point it's we got to get some guest spots.
Well, yeah.
So if you've got outro music that you want to skibidoo-bop through, please, Steve and Lynda make a podcast at gmail.com. That's Lynda with a Y. Why?
Because she fucking spells it.
That was her name that she was given at birth, and that's how it's spelled.
There's always a slight variant on that, and I love it.
Are we also gonna plug the holiday special next week? The Steve and Lynda holiday special? That's what the Slindians want.
That's right.
I mean, we've been
Now,
pretty
what goes into a holiday special?
different intro music with jingle bells.
Oh, okay,
Or
cool. I can handle
synthesizers.
that.
Yeah, that's it. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Technically,
Send your
this will
music
drop
in.
on.
Oh, was it?
Oh, put
Sorry,
some
go ahead.
jingle bells in here,
no,
Dan.
No, go ahead. This, guys, Friday, because we release every Friday and we've never missed any Fridays. This will drop Christmas morning.
Oh,
And the next one will
Merry
drop
Christmas. It
New
is
Year's
Christmas
Day.
Whoa.
We got a Friday situation here.
Damn.
Welcome to 2021, ladies and gentlemen.
No, that's next.
Next one. Sorry.
Welcome to
I'm gonna start the
2020
music.
again.
That's it.
Beautiful.
That was a remix. Did you guys like the remix? Did you?
Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
Dude, why?
Are you
I'm
up?
gonna stop recording. Because that's how I spell my last name. Starting with a Y, Dan Y. I'm stopping recording.
Nice.
Wait, are we not gonna do the outro?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. You heard it here first. From that was a world premiere from Dan Joshua. Steve and Lynda are going to be back next week, but in their stead, I've been Brendan.
I'm Dan.
I'm Ian.
He's Ian. Yeah.
Ian stopped
And
recording,
I'm
but he's also
Parker.
here and our friend.
Wait, did Parker? You still have your recording on, right?
I'm still recording.
Let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
And I'm Parker.
Oh, we fucked this one so hard.
And that's
All
it.
right, I'm done.